Hello guys, it's me Simo Orahara, and in this video we're gonna talk about the first Gotei 13. Where are the captains of this first squad? There is no doubt that after everyone saw the picture of the first Gotei captains, everyone came to his mind one question. Alright, very nice, they contributed to the defeat of Joabach and his army 1,000 years ago and won the respect of the king of the Quincies. But where are the rest of the members? What happened to them? All we know of them are only Yamamoto and Onohana Yachiro. As for the rest, what we currently know about them is only their names and the squads they were in. And contrary to all expectation, as we have noticed, there is no captain with a name that we know, except for the captain of the 2nd division, Shihon Chika. As for the special one as a shape, we learned that the name of this captain is Shigyu no Busona, and he was the captain of the 7th squad. While the Shinigami Riruka, her name is Saito Furofushi, and she was the captain of the 6th division. And the owner of the big boobs is Katori Batsunasai, and she was the captain of the 8th squad. And this old man's name is Sakohone Saizu, and he was the captain of the 13th squad. And therefore, as it appears to you, even the characters that we thought would be within the first Gotei 13 didn't make it. For example, Kirinji or Ginri Kuchiki or Shochara Sunjimaro. For that, I personally thought that noble families would have some of their members within this squad. For example, the 6th squad could be Ginri Kuchiki, and I thought he was this person, but it turned out that his name Otogawa Foruyuki, and he was the captain of the 10th division. The only one who appears to be from a noble family is Chika Shohin. Of course, my thought was due to the concept that I had about this squad, but with the concept that Kobo gave us that they are indeed a group of criminals who didn't care about pride or honor, but only to end their opponents in any way possible, and that they were mere thugs. So it becomes clear that some of the nobles wouldn't be among them, especially from Kuchiki, since this family is known to care about pride. And I can say that the only one in that squad who wasn't really a criminal was Yamamoto. It is true that he was the one who founded this organization and he was their leader, but he only collected the most powerful criminals and put them under his command. He wasn't the big criminal of them. And I'll explain my point in detail. First of all, let's read the definition that was given about the first Gotei in episode 7. As we know that this organization was founded by Yamamoto. Okay, here is a question. Why did Yamamoto found it? Frankly, there is no answer in the anime or in the manga. Why originally Yamamoto would suddenly want to found this organization? What is the reason that made him suddenly decided to gather a group of criminals into a squad that is supposed to be to protect people? So what I personally think is that Yamamoto really did create this squad for protection. Perhaps the Soul Society was living in a time of chaos and insecurity. Perhaps the level of criminality was at its highest level, and Yamamoto, in order to solve this situation, decided to gather the most powerful criminal on his side. Like what they do in our current world with the hackers. Some of the most wanted hackers can work for the good side as a white hat hacker or grey hat hacker. The point is, Yamamoto wanted to establish a certain system, and so he needed a bunch of heartless Shinigami with no honor or pride that could stop them to finish their job to complete their missions. And so he found these Shinigamis and gathered them to create the first Gotei 13. But I'll say it again, it was for protection. Yamamoto wanted to protect the Serity, and at that time he didn't care about the means. And as I said, Yamamoto in my opinion was not a criminal and was not like the rest of the members. How is that? The answer lies in Sasakibe's past. Yamamoto, 1,000 years before the war against the Quincies, was a teacher and he founded the Ginryu school and he had students. When Sasakibe came to Yamamoto, the latter told him, "You're not even one of my students." In your opinion, would a character who plays the role of a teacher or a master be a criminal? In my personal opinion, I don't think so. The master usually cares about discipline and teaching his students certain values. And I'll give you another evidence that confirms what I said. We now have clear proof that the first battle of Zaraki in Onohana took place before the first battle of Yuhabach in Yamamoto 1,000 years ago. Like we have seen in this scene, Onohana appears with a scar on her chest that was caused by Zaraki. In other words, the time of this flashback was before the first fight of Yhwach and Yamamoto. The time when the first Gotei was still with its old behaviors, just a bunch of criminals that looks to feed their lusts under the word of Gotei or protection. And so we noticed that Unohana was with one of her followers, and this also confirms that the first captains were not alone but also had some followers with them, like Yamamoto and Sasakibi. The important thing in this flashback is that Unohana was on a mission. Of course, this mission wouldn't have been without the proof of Yamamoto, because if she had acted on her own, she would not have come with this lie. Notice what her follower said while talking about her true intentions. He said, to preserve peace in Serity. What interested me about her followers' words is the last sentence, to bring peace to Serity. Of course, Unohana didn't care about these things, but I think she said it to Yamamoto as an excuse to go to Rikongai and try to fight any strong person she finds there. And so this is what made me believe that the thing that Yamamoto cared the most about was bringing security to Serity. And security means peace. Of course, the formation of the squad was under the broad title, which is protection. But in reality, and in the presence of criminals and thugs like Unohana and the rest, it is certain that they sometimes divided from the line, which wasn't something serious for Yamamoto as long as they would destroy their opponents. And so the situation continued like this until Yhwach and his army came. And there apparently where was the real test for Yamamoto in his squad, because Yhwach and his army arrived until Serity. And if Yamamoto in this scene was talking about his battle against Yhwach, he said that the Soul Society really was living in a very bad situation. The important thing is that Yamamoto and his squad defeated the Quincy's after Yamamoto used his Bankai. But after the victory, something has changed in Yamamoto. Perhaps he saw that the behaviors of the captains who were with him is no longer suitable for the upcoming stage. Yamamoto thought that the greatest danger that was facing the Soul Society, represented by Yhwach and the Quincy's, had been removed, which made him rethink that it was time to merge the concept of his school, which was established 1,000 years ago, with new organization, which is the Gotei 13. And for this he thought that he needed teachers captains, not criminals captains. And here we will move to the most important point of this video, the fate of the criminals captains. What I think is Yamamoto offered the captains two options, either to follow the new policy, which is to abandon all criminals activities and implement the principles for which this organization was established, which is protection, or there is a second option, which is prison. And what is a suitable place for such criminals? Yes, it's the Muken. For those who don't know, the definition of the Muken was mentioned in the novel Spirits Are Forever With You and also in this chapter, and both the novel and the manga agree that the Muken is a prison for the most notorious criminals. Unohana told Zaraki that originally no criminals wouldn't enter this place. In the novel there is a detailed definition was given about the Muken, where it was said that the most notorious criminals are imprisoned in that prison, especially those who for certain circumstances cannot be killed by Sokyuku. And there is a beautiful sentence that I liked, where it was said, it's unknown who is the first prisoner, but it's known who is the last one, and they mean by the last one Aizen Soseki. So what do you think might be the first prisoner in the Muken? Isn't it possible to be one of the ancient captains? Especially since it is mentioned that the most of the captains are originally the biggest criminals in the Soul Society. Therefore I think that some of the captains did not accept what Yamamoto wanted, and some of them decided to make a revolution against Yamamoto. So some of them were thrown in the Muken, while others decided to work with Yamamoto on his new path. Among them is Unohana Yachiro, and maybe that's why we have seen this transformation in her personality. I previously said in a previous theory that this transformation may be because of Zaraki, because she made him become weaker and considered that her own sin. But according to the anime, the battle of Zaraki and Unohana was before the fight of Yamamoto and Yhwach. So perhaps one of the reasons for this change in her personality may be that Yamamoto no longer accepts those criminal behaviors of the captains. So he told her that she should change. We noticed in the last episode how Unohana was following Yamamoto's orders to the letter, He told her not to leave the headquarters of the 4th Division, and that's what she did. As for the others, it seems that they didn't like the situation. They were killed or they were imprisoned in the Muken. So there is a possibility that some of them in hell because they were killed, or maybe in the Muken. And as I said, it's most likely that some of them are present in the Muken because the Muken was said to be the prison for the biggest criminals, and these characteristics apply to those captains. And so the second generation that came after them, it may be that generation where we could see Ginri Kuchiki or Kirinji. So guys, what do you think? Tell me your opinion and see you in my next video.